So if you're going to send a horse to be started, this is what that horse needs to be for you to get the most bang for your buck.
Good.
So we're in the time of the year when a lot of people are thinking about sending horses off to be trained or to be started. I get a lot of questions on how to prepare a horse to be sent off to be started, and that's what we're going to talk about today on Tim Anderson Horse Training. So today we're going to be working with Lightning. I let everything here be a horse, so he's pretty filthy, but that's actually going to work into what we're going to talk about, what we're going to do today. So we'll get him out and we'll talk about him as we get him out. If you've been following me a while, I've had this horse in before to be halter broke last year. So you might have seen him before in some other videos. You want to get the most bang for your buck when you're spending money to get a horse trained. So you want the trainer to be able to work on starting the horse under saddle, not spending his time learning teaching the horse how to be caught or how to be haltered. So when you send a horse off to be started, your horse should already be halter broke. Should be easy for the trainer to get his hands on him so that he can spend his time actually starting the horse, starting him under saddle, sacking him out, teaching him steering, and not doing remedial work that the horse should already know, such as learning to be caught and haltered. So I'll bring him out of the stall. When you send your horse off to be trained, he should lead well. Go back and forth. Your trainer should not be teaching your horse how to lead if you're sending there to be started. Now I had this horse in earlier last year, it's been close to a year ago, for him to be halter broke. So they sent him to me to be started to be halter broke. Now it's still too early to start him under saddle. He don't actually turn 2 until late spring. So they sent him to me again to prepare him to be started under saddle. And that's what I'm doing with him now. We're going to prepare him so that when we do start him under saddle, we can get the most done that we can. So what I expect when a horse comes to me to be started under saddle, he should lead, steer, back, and be pretty easy to handle in hand with a halter. If he's not well halter broke, that's okay, that can be fixed, but you have to realize that if your trainer is spending time halter breaking your horse, he's not spending time riding your horse. So if you want to get the most for your money, you need to teach your horse to be well halter broke. At this point, he knows how to follow his nose. He knows how to follow the pull of the halter. I'd like him to be a little bit better with his head right there. That's something else we still need to work on. This is something I'm going to need when he's under saddle. I want him to turn his head and follow the pull of the rein. That is all preparing him to be started under saddle. Good boy. So I'm going to take him into the wash rack. I'll show you a few more things. We're going to groom on him a little bit and show you some more things that your horse needs to know before he goes to a trainer to be started. So all of these things that I'm showing you, it's okay if your horse doesn't know how to do, but just to understand that if your trainer is spending his time doing those things, he's not spending time saddling your horse. If you want your trainer to spend time saddling, he needs to not have to spend time teaching him how to lead. Now when the horse goes to your trainer, eventually the horse is going to be tied, saddled, groomed, everything in cross ties or however your trainer does it, and you want the horse to already know how to be tied before he leaves. Again, you don't want your trainer to be teaching that. You want him to be riding the horse and putting saddle time on the horse. So your horse should already know how to stand tied and how to be groomed. So I'm going to brush on him a little bit. You should be able to handle your horse in the cross ties just as if he was any other broke horse. Before you send him off to a trainer, he should have been handled enough that he knows how to act like a broke horse on the ground to be groomed. So he should pick his feet up. I'd like him to pick him up a little bit quicker than what he just did, but that wasn't too bad. I don't want him to bite me either. It wasn't too bad. And he's not trying to pull it away. He's letting me hold it up long enough to clean it out, and also long enough for the farrier to trim him. Now I want to be able to move that around without him snatching it away. The farrier's going to put it between his feet. So I want him to accept all of that. This is all stuff that needs to be taught to your horse before he's sent off to be started on the saddle. One of the things that I like to do is take just a regular feed bag, and it doesn't have to be a feed bag, it can be a feed bag. I want him used to the sound, I want him used to the smell, and I'm going to take that feed bag and I'm going to brush on him just like if it was a brush. And I'm going to let it make noise. See, I'm starting with it small, and I'll let it get bigger. And I'll be kind of aggressive with it. I want the scratch to feel good. I want him to like that. When you put that saddle pad on the horse, or you put the saddle on the horse, it's going to make all kind of noises. And I'm not necessarily like sacking him out to a plastic bag like you see a lot of trainers do. In a way I am, but I'm taking that sacking out, and instead of just working circles and flagging him with that flag, we're taking that noise and that sound and we're doing something that's going to be productive in the direction that we want to go. So I'm rubbing with that bag, I can make that bag bigger. And the whole time I'm actually putting some pressure and I'm scratching him a little bit so that he associates this with something good. If he kicks at the bag, that needs to be fixed. And of course everything we do, we're going to do on both sides. Not taking any great care. I want the horse to be broke to whatever happens around him. Now I can take that bag and I can kind of throw it up on him, just like you would do with the saddle pad. And you see, if you watch his expression, he's a little bit concerned. Yeah, you're a little concerned, you're watching. He's a little concerned, but he's watching and he's accepting what I'm asking him to do. That is really important because that tells me that his mind is ready to move forward in training. If he was just having a panic attack, trying to escape, then that would tell me that mentally that horse was not ready to advance in training. So the way he's reacting to what I'm doing, that tells me that mentally this horse is ready to accept training. Physically he's not old enough, but mentally he's ready to be challenged. So this horse is ready to have a saddle pad thrown on his back. I just showed you when I was in the aisleway, he's ready to follow his nose. Now I'm going to take a little pony saddle and just throw it up there and just see what kind of reaction I get. There, he's chewing. Good sign. He's relaxing to what I'm doing. I'll take a pony saddle and I'll throw on his back a few times and see what kind of reaction I get. Okay, so I have just a basic pony saddle. I don't want anything big and heavy because he's not ready for that yet. But I want mentally for him to have known that he had a saddle thrown up on his back. I'm gonna touch him with it, rub him with it, just like I did the bag. One step builds off the previous step. Every step builds off the previous step. Set it up there, pet on it. Good boy. And take it off. Now, like I said a minute ago, with the bag, his expression and his mental state told me that he was ready to go ahead and keep progressing. That's how I knew I could throw the saddle up on his back and get a positive reaction. His mental state could have told me something else. If he was really moving a lot, trying to escape the pressure that I was putting on him, if his ears was flicking around a lot more. I like what his ears are doing. They're back, they're paying attention to what I'm doing, but they're not pinning. He don't have them pinned, and he's not overly worried. I'm okay that he's worried some. This is new to him. This is the first time I've ever thrown a saddle up on this horse's back. So he's concerned, but he has a mental state that he's going to do it because I asked him to do it. I'll throw it up there and I'll just let him wear it just a minute. I like that he's standing here listening. He hasn't pulled on the cross ties any. He chewed a minute ago. He's still tight right now, but he'll chew in just a minute. So I'll just stand here and give him a minute to soak it in. See, his ears just went forward. The wind blew that banner right there. So he's not really that concerned about what I'm doing, or his attention wouldn't have left me that easy. That's another thing that tells me that mentally he's ready to progress. If the whole world would come to an end and he's still worried about what's happening with this saddle on his back, then that means he's not ready to progress. So everything about this horse's mental state and his reaction tells me he's ready to progress. So he'll accept the pad. That's what I did with the bag. He'll accept the saddle. He'll follow his nose, what we did in the aisleway. Next thing is to work on making sure he will accept the bridle. So that's what I'll do next. So when I go to bridle him, I don't want his head way up in the air so that it'd be hard to bridle. I want his head in a position that's comfortable for me. I don't want it way down here, and I don't want it way up there. So what I'm going to do is I'll put just a little pressure up here to the pole, and when he lowers his head, I'll take the pressure away. Notice there, he's looking at me and release. Notice that's very little drop. And release. That was a good one there. Good boy. There, he understood. So I'm not asking for a lot, but I'm asking for a little bit in the correct direction. So he will start to lower his head to be bridled. The next thing is I want him to open his mouth to accept the bit. So all I'm going to do is just take my finger, put it in the corner of his mouth, and let him chew. Good boy. Got it clamped shut a little bit. Kind of wiggle my finger around, let him chew. Good boy. So this horse will lower his head and he'll open his mouth to accept the bit. So this horse will be ready to accept the bridle when it's time to start him. So that's the main things that I want from a horse when it comes in from training. I want him to follow his nose. I want him to accept things on his back. I want him to be prepared to accept the bridle. I want him to be able to pick up his feet, let me clean his feet out, manage his feet, and I want him to let me brush him and bathe him so that I can make him look good. So if you're going to send a horse to be started, this is what that horse needs to be for you to get the most bang for your buck. I'm not going to have to go back and do any remedial work with this horse. I'll be able to start right from saddling him up and start with getting him started under saddle. And all of the preparatory work to get him to that point has been done. Also, I want to point out that this halter that I have on him, this is the halter that I did in my tack spotlight video 1 or 2 videos ago. If this is what I use to start all my colts with. I talked about why in the previous video. I want it soft, I don't want any knots. Give them something soft to follow the nose, just like you saw me do in the aisleway. There'll be a link to this halter in the comments below if you'd like to order one. They're fairly inexpensive, they're like less than $20. Let me know in the comments below what you teach your horses before they're sent off to be started. And if you start horses for other people, let me know what do you expect from your horses. I don't necessarily have everything that come in to be started that already knows everything, but if it does already know all this, that means that's that much more time that I can spend on the horse's back. So until next time, thank you for watching.